Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into HashKey Group. They're a company with a pretty bold idea. What if the future of crypto isn't about avoiding the rules, but actually writing them?
So in a crypto world that's, still feeling the sting from some major collapses that were all about that move fast and break things attitude, this quote from HashKey's CEO, Dr. Xiaofang, really hits different. The message here is crystal clear. The party's over for operating in the regulatory shadows.
Right, so that begs a pretty big question, doesn't it? If the Wild West days are done, what's next? Well, companies like HashKey are betting big on an answer. They think the future isn't about trying to get around the system, but about building a smarter, better one right from the inside.
So today, we're going to break down HashKey's entire game plan. We'll look at the new era they see for crypto, why compliance is their foundation, the infrastructure they're building on-chain, how their HSK token fuels it all, the grants they're using to grow, and finally, their big plan for an IPO to bridge into the mainstream.
Okay, let's kick things off with a big picture. We're talking about a massive shift that's basically rewriting the rules for the whole crypto industry.
The basic idea here is pretty simple. For crypto to really truly go mainstream, it just can't be the Wild West anymore. You know that old offshore model? It was kind of like setting up a shop on some remote island with zero rules. The new onshore model is the complete opposite. It's about planting your flag in major financial hubs, getting licensed, and yep, playing by the same rules as the big banks.
And that leads us right into HashKey's whole philosophy, which, by the way, they've had since way back in 2018. This was long before compliance was the cool thing to do. They made a huge bet that regulation was the future. And this really shows you the night and day difference. Think about it. The old model, you could often sign up with just an email address. HashKey's way is, well, it's the total opposite. They have strict identity checks, things like KYC, Know Your Customer, and AML, anti-money laundering. It's the same stuff your bank does. So instead of just chasing that crazy explosive growth, they're playing the long game, focusing on being sustainable and super secure.
And look, they are putting their money where their mouth is, 130 million Hong Kong dollars. That's what they're projecting to spend on just compliance for the first half of 2025 alone. So yeah, this isn't just talk. It's a huge financial commitment to doing things by the book.
That commitment carries over to how they handle your assets too. Look at this. Almost 97% of customer funds are in cold storage. That just means they're held completely offline away from hackers. And here's the really crucial part. Those customer funds are totally separate from the company's own money. This prevents the exact kind of mess that took down some other huge exchanges. This is just standard practice for any serious financial institution.
All right, so if compliance is the foundation, what are they actually building on top of it? Let's get into the tech, the actual on-chain infrastructure. Because, having rules is great, but you need the technology to actually enforce them. Okay, so first up, the HashKey chain is what's called a Layer 2 network. The easiest way to think about this is like this. Imagine Ethereum is a super secure, but sometimes really traffic-jammed highway. A Layer 2 is like building a brand new express lane right on top of it. It makes everything way faster and way cheaper, but you still get all the security of that main highway underneath.
And they've designed this chain around three key pillars. First, making it super easy for developers to come and build cool stuff. Second, creating an ecosystem alliance, basically teaming up with VCs to throw money at promising projects. And third, and maybe most importantly, making sure the whole thing is safe, secure, and audited so that people can actually trust it.
Okay, now this is what makes it really different. This isn't just another fast blockchain. It has compliance baked right in. For instance, a big bank can't just have all its transactions public for the world to see, right? So HashKey built in privacy tools for them. And get this, they even have a trade rollback feature. So for those heart-stopping moments when someone makes a typo and accidentally sells $1 million worth of something, there's a way to undo it. That's straight out of the traditional finance playbook.
Okay, so you've got the foundation and the infrastructure. Now you need the fuel. For the HashKey ecosystem, that fuel is the HSK token. It's really the engine that makes the whole thing run. And how they're distributing this token says a lot. A whopping 65% is set aside for ecosystem growth. That means rewards for users, funding for projects, all that good stuff. And here's a really important detail. They didn't have a big private sale for early investors. Why does that matter? It means you don't have a bunch of early insiders waiting to dump their tokens on the market. It's all about long-term growth.
So what do you actually do with HSK? Well, think of it like the universal currency for their whole world.
You use it to pay for transaction fees on their chain, you get discounts on trading fees on their exchange, you can vote on decisions. It's meant to be used, to be the lifeblood of the system, not just something you buy and hope the price goes up.
Now, this is pretty clever. To tie the token's success directly to the business's success, they do something called a buyback and burn. They take 20% of their profits every quarter, go out and buy HSK tokens from the market, and then they destroy them. Poof, gone forever. By constantly reducing the total supply, the idea is that the tokens that are left become scarcer and hopefully more valuable.
So you've built a city, you've created the currency. What's next? You need people to actually move in and start businesses. In the tech world, that means attracting the developers and entrepreneurs who are going to build the next big thing.
And how are they doing that? With money. $50 million to be exact. That's the size of their Atlas grant program, which is a fund specifically to give cash to cool projects that are building on the HashKey chain. This is literally how you kickstart a brand new digital economy.
And they're not wasting any time. As you can see, the first $10 million batch is already happening. And they're really focused on what they call real-world asset tokenization. It sounds complicated, but it just means taking things from the real world, like a piece of art or a share of a building, and putting them on the blockchain. The big idea is to make these things way easier for anyone to trade.
Okay, on to the final piece of the master plan, the capstone. HashKey is planning to go public with an IPO. This is their ultimate move to build that permanent bridge over to the world of traditional finance. Their CEO, Xiaofeng, basically sees the crypto world split into two teams. On one side, you have the revolutionaries. Their goal is to tear down Wall Street and replace it entirely. But HashKey is on the other team, the reformers. They don't want to destroy the old system. They want to integrate with it, to upgrade it, to build a bridge connecting the two worlds. And for them, this IPO isn't really about raising a ton of cash. It's about trust. It's about radical transparency. When you become a public company, you have to open up your books to everyone. It's like getting a passport that gets you into the club with the biggest banks and financial players in the world. It proves you're a serious, trusted partner.
Which really leaves us with one final question to chew on. As these two worlds, digital finance and traditional finance, get closer and closer, maybe the real winners won't be the ones trying to launch a rocket ship to a whole new planet, but the ones who stay behind and build the bridges to connect everything together.